Welcome to episode 2 of the Collegiate Live Podcast. I'm Josh Carlson, and today I'm joined by Lucas Southwell, Sabrina Edwards, and Anthony Clark Jr. This week we are going to start off with a little bit of Valentine's Day talk and Shred Your Ex with Sabrina Edwards.
Yeah, so I was on Facebook and I was just scrolling the newsfeed as you do, and an event popped up that sparked my interest, and it was Shred Your Ex. And I actually interviewed the owner of Social House, who is starting the event, and his whole thing was that he wanted to celebrate the people who were scorned during like the Valentine's Day season, because a lot of it is like the Hallmark holiday where they're celebrating couples, but he wants to go against that and celebrate the single people.
So people who can't pull, basically.
I guess, yeah.
As a single sitting here, but that's kind of petty. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because it'd be funny if you don't have a good relationship with your ex because of something that could have happened. But
yeah, so he basically was like, there's just going to be a group printer in the middle of the floor, and you just bring in either like a photo or like a letter or any other symbolic thing.
Any memory.
Yeah,
with them.
any of your memories, and you can just shred them.
I'm a big memory person. Like, I have a memory box from when I was in, 8th grade, and it still's, in there, and I have everything that I've done, whether it be concerts or whatever, so it'd be kind of hard for me to, shred up, a gift, because, whether, you guys have a bad relationship or not, they were a part of your life at some point, so I feel like they at least taught you something, you know?
No, most definitely.
Yeah, but what if everything they taught you was bad?
That's there you
Well,
go.
they taught you maybe
Well, I would hope that if you're in some type of abusive relationship, and you're still keeping memorabilia, with them, then that's kind of hurting yourself as well. So
yeah,
that's true.
If anything, this event better be
it
first
could
in
be
line.
a fresh start, so to say.
Yeah. I
There
mean,
you go.
Yeah.
they taught you how
emotionally
you
and
shouldn't be
mentally.
treated.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
But it's just interesting to see the dichotomy of the two. Everyone's going out or celebrating Valentine's Day, but you can go and shred your ex.
I would, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't participate, but I mean,
It'd be
I understand if you
interesting,
want to.
Yeah.
All right, next we're going to move on to Valentine's Day talk. I asked a couple of people, I did a poll on Instagram, and I asked, what does love mean to you? And I kind of didn't get that serious of responses, mostly.
Go figure.
I got a couple.
Yeah.
I got a couple of them. I think my favorite one that I got had to do with somebody was discussing when you will do anything for somebody and about making sure that you love them to the max extent of when a parent loves you, they'll wake up at 6 a.m. just to make you breakfast before school type of thing, just the little things they were talking about.
Okay.
Somebody said when you give your last piece of candy even though you wanted it. Another serious one was trust, faith, emotional connection, cooperation, no secrets, acceptance, and most importantly, fun. That was a
lot.
That was a pretty
definitely
serious.
fun and emotional support. I mean, you can't really establish a good bond if you don't have that good of mental and emotional support. But I don't know. Yeah, that was kind of a lengthy list right there. They're looking for one specific person. Jeez.
Somebody says when they text you, text me when you get home safe.
I mean, yeah, no, that's.
I kind of like that one.
Facts.
That one was probably my
that
favorite
definitely
one.
has been a bigger, concept of our generation. But yeah, no, that's a simple way of showing love for real.
Alrighty, we can move on from that now. Next, we are going to talk about politics. As usual, Lucas is going to be the head of this. How about you
As
start us off,
usual.
Lucas?
Articulation.
Yeah, so lots of stuff went on last couple of weeks. There's the Iowa caucus, which was a mess. Late results getting in, really close, really contested. Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg have been the front runners so far. Sanders won just under 2,500 more votes than Buttigieg did in the Iowa caucus, but the way it worked out, he got 2 less SDEs, which resulted in him getting 1 less a national state delegate. But the most important thing about the Iowa caucus and stuff is generally establishing front runners. So you could still make the argument he kind of won. But regardless, both him and Buttigieg were the big winners of that. Whereas Biden tanked, and that kind of continued as well into now this week. There was the New Hampshire primary. Bernie Sanders won this one just outright. He got just under 4,000 more votes than Buttigieg, but it was very close again. And they'll end up getting the same number of national state delegates from that. So that's 9 for each of them. So right now, they seem to be the front runners. Warren and Biden have both dipped really hard.
Yeah, they have.
And at this point, it's unlikely either of them have any real path to the nomination. The only real big person of interest is Amy Klobuchar. She honestly did really surprisingly well in the New Hampshire primary. It certainly shocked me. But again, to try and claim, I have a viable path to nomination without showing up big in both the first two, the Iowa caucus and New Hampshire primary, at this point, it's kind of a two-man race right now between Biden and Buttigieg. So, I mean, it's a two-man race between Bernie, Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg. So it'll definitely be interesting. But yeah, also recent news, the leader of the Iowa Democratic Party,
While you pull that up, what is going to be interesting to me is, so Warren and Biden are kind of falling out, and then Bernie's more of, he's not moderate at all, but Buttigieg is, would you say, closer to being a moderate, correct? Not as extreme of the Democrat Party?
It obviously depends on your definition of moderate and extreme. But yeah, Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg are both more conservative, trying to neoliberal, trying to appease kind of centrists
the
and
middle
stuff.
People,
right?
Exactly. And what's going to interest me is once those the people who are maybe possibly pulling votes away from Buttigieg or Klobuchar or Bernie, once they kind of get everybody dropped out and we actually get that slim race where the votes actually do go.
And that's a really good point, because that's happened in the past where a front runner has done so well early on that he's kind of caused a bunch of people to drop out, but that kind of boosted the second place runner.
Yeah.
Because those people are going.
It'll be interesting whether or not that actually benefits Sanders or Buttigieg, though, because if you look at polls, there are a lot, especially if you look at Warren supporters, there are a lot of them that have Sanders as their second choice. So that is definitely a very real possibility. However, it might be iffy, especially it might depend on who drops out first. Whether that'll benefit or hurt either Buttigieg or Sanders.
Is it called a split convention?
Yes.
Is there a possibility of that?
There's a very big possibility of that, especially with how close this is right now. Essentially, Bernie Sanders needs to win, or Pete Buttigieg, or anyone needs to win a lot of delegates to basically ensure he's the nomination, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it goes to the DNC convention, there can be what you said,
Split
convention, and that and it'll depend then, right? Because at that point, power is kind of is not so much in the hands of the voters and stuff, and you could definitely see, and the Democratic Party is not a big fan of Sanders at the current part. Yeah. The establishment there. A lot of the big money donors don't like him as well because he doesn't want their money. So it'll be interesting to see if he doesn't pull out the necessary stuff to just outright win, if he'll even have a chance, because they might just, through a split convention, just kind of give it to Buttigieg.
And I'll be interested to see once they get to South Carolina and things, how Buttigieg actually does with the southern
That'll
voters.
Also be really interesting because the two states we've kind of have results from now are really white. They're really white.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
not very diverse. They're not super representative. So they certainly etched out two frontrunners, but how close those two frontrunners really are, we'll definitely have to keep looking at the upcoming results and stuff.
Do you think we could see someone like Biden or Warren dropping out in the near future, or because Biden was the vice president, do you think he'll try to stick it out longer? Because I know Andrew Yang just dropped.
Andrew Yang dropped, and that wasn't shocker. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised Warren didn't drop out after New Hampshire. I'm surprised Biden didn't either. I'm not super surprised, but that is depends on how stubborn they are, because they're not going to win the
It would suck
nomination
for
at this point.
like I mean
it's
it would suck too because like Warren was such like a front runner
In the beginning,
polls in the
yeah.
beginning, and then she just completely fell
I
off
mean,
after the whole Bernie.
Biden, especially
thing.
like Biden was at the top of every poll to start this, and
talked to
his campaign has not run
Yeah.
well. And at this point, especially Iowa and New Hampshire, like those are states he really needed to win, right? Warren isn't as bad position, but she still probably doesn't have any. She's got like a 0.5% chance of winning nomination at this point, if even that. Biden, there's no hope for Biden. Biden's done.
No, he talked himself out of being able to be a president of the United States.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
All right, so that wraps up politics, and next we're going to move on to a bit of sports. Anthony's going to lead this off talking about the All-Star Game. So what'd you write about with that, Anthony?
Just more or less, just the dates, the events, and everything. So tomorrow we're starting off with the, I believe it is the, what are we looking at here? Not the skills challenge, but the Rising Stars challenge in this celebrity all-star game. Celebrities including Quavo. We got Chance the Rapper as a team captain
Quavo
for
can
one of the
ball.
team. Quavo's been a hooper for a
He
while.
can
I mean,
ball.
you keep seeing on social media how there was even just some new videos surfacing with him in some runs with like Drake and Justin Bieber and stuff. So yeah, no, Quavo's pretty dope. Ronnie 2K is in there, so we'll see how much hate he's getting. Hopefully,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
He was
I'm
getting
not gonna
torn
lie.
up.
I'm fingers crossed that he does get dunked on or something because I'm tired of him lying to 2K fans, man. Oh God, to 2K fans, man, like for real, it's ridiculous. But again, the Rising Stars Challenge as well. Those are the only two events on tomorrow, so February 14th. Rising Stars, you just got the rookies, going against the quote sophomores of the league, second season players. They're just going head to head at each other. I do believe that there is the World versus USA event as well, but I did forget to mention that.
I think so. Yes, there is, because
Yes.
I just was reading something that DeAndre Ayton
Yep.
got replaced by a player from the New Orleans
okay.
Pelicans.
Yep.
I'm not sure who.
Yeah, no,
his name was very foreign.
I
but
completely spaced on that, honestly, just because they aren't talking about it whatsoever. And even then, when I'm on the NBA's webpage, it doesn't pop up for their list of events, so I'm kind of confused.
yeah, I'm not sure.
But,
I haven't really seen anything
Right,
on it.
that's
so
what I'm
you're
saying.
right,
Yeah, no. So, anyways, Saturday, February 15th, that's going to be the skills challenge, like I was just mentioning earlier. Jason Tatum's returning. He was the champion last year. He's going against players like Patrick Beverley, Pascal Siakam. There was about maybe 5 more. D Rose is supposed to be in there, but unfortunately he got injured.
I think, yeah,
So he got
yeah.
replaced by Shai Gilgeous. It's obviously pretty tough for Chicago fans, even just fans of the NBA, because they wanted to see him participate in some type
Yeah.
of all-star event. But unfortunately, injuries always holding him back. Also,
Per
the
usual.
3-point contest. Yeah, no, it's just horrible. I mean, horrible. But anyways, 3-point contest as well. Joe Harris is coming back. He won last year, player for the Nets. Also, Damian Lillard was supposed to play, but he just got injured last night.
got
So
replaced
now,
by Devin Booker.
Devin Booker, one of the bigger all-star snubs. He's replacing him in the 3-point contest and taking a spot in the all-star game itself. So it'll be pretty cool. I believe he's on Team LeBron because I'm almost positive LeBron picked Damian Lillard. I know he did for sure.
Yeah.
Also, Trae Young, he'll be in the 3-point contest, and a few other players. And then that's going to be followed by the slam dunk competition. We got our boy Superman, Dwight Howard, back. It's been over a decade since he last participated. He was an 08 champion.
He's got such hops,
Oh,
too.
man. And we also got high flyers like Derrick Jones Jr. for the Miami Heat. That boy has been
He can dunk.
just the
for
ridiculous
sure.
lobs that he catches. It doesn't make sense. Like, he's literally just extending, It's just ridiculous. We also got Aaron Gordon coming back. And I don't see how he doesn't take, the championship if it's not Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, they also have Pat Connaughton for the Bucks. He's in there, but
Yeah.
he's more or
I
less
mean-
was their fourth guy. Just to, he's dope.
Yeah.
By all means, he has great athleticism.
Gordon,
but,
though, is just like a crazy dunker.
Man.
He every time he's been in it, it's been like good.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I can't.
Like,
I remember
literally, it was
growing up,
2016 or 2017.
I think it was the 2016
It was it just
dunk
said 4 years
contest.
ago today, so I don't know why I'm tripping.
Oh,
It was
it's 2016.
Yeah, 2016.
That the Zach Levine. That was the best dunk contest I've seen.
Hands down of our generation,
Like,
we're not going to see another
yeah,
one.
I don't
Like,
think we'll see another one
I mean,
unless.
in my opinion, I still think Eric Gordon did get snubbed just because. I mean, Zach Levine, he did just win the previous year, but still, I mean, he has some nasty dunks too. Like the free throw line, Air Jordan dunk, and everything
Yeah.
that he pulled out. But I don't know, Aaron Gordon.
Gordon's dunk
he
over
was
the
just,
mascot
like
when he
literally
went under
sitting
his
down,
legs.
sitting. That's what everyone brings
That
up.
was the
He's literally
coolest
sitting
dunk
down and just just
I've
straight
ever
vertical.
seen.
Like you're not gonna see that. We're talking like Vince Carter type type of athleticism right there. But, unfortunately, he came, I think 2 points shy of winning that. But, again, that's going to be – the past few years, they've been kind of whack. The All-Star events outside the All-Star game itself, it's just been kind of
the All-Star game –
so. Even then, that's very criticized for the no defense.
Yeah,
but
and they're trying to make it more interesting to watch, which is cool. They're doing the whole thing this year.
Final target score.
Yeah, the final
that's
target
the new,
score.
more or less
so
the tribute to Kobe.
Yep.
So,
but you gotta have to understand it though, because it is the All-Star break.
Yeah. Oh no, they're not
trying.
There's no. They talk about it all the time. They're not trying to have any crazy injuries, anything like that. Anything to exert too much energy going back into the regular season. They're just there to have fun, and build up that chemistry, that bond amongst the better players. But going back to the final target score, that's more or less just a concept of where, if people haven't heard already. So say the teams, it's 76-70 at the end of the third quarter. They're going to go into an untimed fourth quarter. They're adding 24 to whatever the highest score is. So, again, the example is 76-70. Add 24 to that 76 number. Both the teams got to reach 100 points in order to win, again, in an untimed fourth quarter. So, again, we're going back to the whole defense aspect. I do definitely believe, they're going to be fighting pretty hard in the third quarter. Fourth quarter is going to be – it's always been a showdown in every single All-Star game, and in the fourth quarter, because it's usually – the games are pretty close. And one person is
usually going off, and they want to hit that.
Always someone, they're trying to break some type of record. It's really been the West winning almost for at least the past 5 years, I believe.
Draft, so.
Yeah, no, but, now – their draft, Giannis, he was picking some crazy picks.
Who did he pick?
Joel Embiid for his first pick. The starting lineup for Team Giannis is Giannis himself, Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam, Kemba Walker, and Trae Young. And then for Team LeBron, it's Bron, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic, and James Harden. And Giannis, he picks Joel Embiid over Kawhi Leonard.
So basically East versus West.
And the reserves are literally, they have 3 East players: Domantas Sabonis, Ben Simmons, and Jason Tatum. That's who LeBron has. And then, he has more of a West squad, obviously, him being in the West. And then Giannis, his 3 West players are Brandon Ingram, Donovan Mitchell, and Rudy Gobert. And the rest are all East players for his reserves and his starting lineup.
Interesting.
Definitely, I'm just now realizing that Jimmy Butler didn't even make it. I really thought that he was on the All-Star game.
He is. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Chris Middleton.
Oh wow, mine is not updated whatsoever. This is showing me Chris Middleton. Yeah, Jimmy Butler isn't even on here. But anyways, no. But it's gonna. Again, it is more East versus West, but I think it's still gonna be really cool. It's again with that whole new concept and everything, and it's gonna be players gonna be balling out. We got some new players, some players I definitely want to see with Luka Doncic.
I want to see him. He's awesome.
He's about to go crazy. Brandon Ingram, he finally made one.
I'm pretty sure I saw something about Luka Doncic and Domantas Sabonis being the first European All-Stars in since Dirk.
Wow. I'm trying to think back, right? Past couple of years. Yeah.
I think
I would not put
for since two whatever. At
least
Dirk
I believe he retired 2014 or something like that.
So it'd probably be 2012.
Yeah, no, that's wild. I didn't even think about that. It definitely. The league has definitely revolutionized. They have, we have fantastic European talent. Not even just from European. We got South America. More of the Eastern countries. There's great talent coming out of there. The NBA is definitely trying to make sure that they're bringing in players from anywhere besides the United States because there's talent everywhere. You got the Greek Freak. They don't call him that for nothing. That man is. Soon to be NBA champion. The reigning MVP from last year. There's absolutely no way that. That he doesn't end up winning a championship or another MVP. But it's gonna be an exciting weekend.
You mentioned snubs.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest snub? Devin Booker's in now, but is that even more of a snub for? Or you can't be because he's from the West, but does that make Bradley Beal the top one now?
Well, more or less, yeah. They talked about DeMar DeRozan, John Morant. Who else here?
John Morant is a rookie though. It's
tough. There was no way he wasn't
going to
make it.
The All-Stars when he was a rookie, did he?
Yeah. No, I don't believe
so.
He was a second year for sure. But yeah, no, he's a fantastic player. There's no, he's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt. He's a dog. They have a great young core out there in Memphis. But yeah, no, going back to Bradley Beal, he most definitely. One of the bigger snubs. Even when we're talking about Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, they're putting up numbers that no player has put up.
Yeah,
I have his
averages right now. He averages 28.6, 6.3, and he's 6th in the entire league for scoring.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just
And a lot of people, what I don't like is they're saying their record for the team. But Trae Young is on a team where he is the last in the
and
East.
he's a starter.
In the East.
And he's a starter.
And
And
he's
they're
a
trying
starter.
to bring up that argument.
Yeah.
No. I mean, that should not be. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of arguments about it being more fan based rather than based on talent. Players actually putting up good numbers in the first few months of the season. But I don't know. That whole argument with it where it's team record, it has nothing to do with that. That's just that's garbage.
I think that's just
but
like
and the fans, they have 50% of the voting, and that's I mean, obviously literally half the votes is persuading how these players are getting drafted into this, event. So I don't know. I mean, Bradley Beal, he's been getting snubbed for quite a few years. Damian Lillard, of course, he finally gets his recognition, and then of course, why wouldn't he get hurt? But we're just praying for a healthy recovery for him. Hopefully we're going to keep seeing this great talent coming in, especially with more of the older players getting closer to retirement. But, it's the game. Got a lot of young talent, a lot of young core teams. So it's still going to be pretty fun to watch for the next, or at least for our lifetime. So
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from the NBA All-Star Game, we're going to move on to some NFL news. I got to interview a Chiefs player. The Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. His name is Nick Kiezer. He's on their practice squad. I got to interview him because he's from Portage, Michigan, and Grand Valley State University. He graduated there in 2017. He was an All-American at Grand Valley. He led the GLIAC, in Division II for yards per catch as a tight end. He's a tight end. And I just got to ask him a few questions about the Chiefs organization and what it was like growing up playing football and if he always wanted to be in the NFL. So let's play that clip right now. With growing up in Portage, was it always a dream for you to be like a professional athlete and to the next level?
Yeah, I think kind of like a lot of kids playing sports growing up, that's like the end goal, right? Everybody wants to be professional athletes. So you grew up playing football, playing rocket football, and grew to love it. And then from a young age, had a dream to play in the NFL. So it's kind of stuck with me my whole life, for sure.
Yeah, so like with that being kind of a part of your childhood, what's your like family's relationship with sports? Like, are you guys like a sports oriented family, or do you guys all play sports?
Yeah, sports has been a pretty big part of our whole family. I have two brothers. My older brother, he played football, basketball in high school, and he played football at Michigan. And then my younger brother,
awesome.
Yeah, then my younger brother, same. He played all sports in high school and stuff, and he's at Michigan right now playing baseball. So we've been blessed. We've all kind of gotten to play like college sports and the next level, and I guess we just got lucky.
Yeah, good genes.
We all have pretty good height. Yeah. We all have pretty good height. I mean, you can't really teach that. Beyond that, I think, we've all worked pretty hard, but we've been blessed.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you went to Grand Valley, obviously, and then you went to the Ravens and then the Chiefs. What was it like making that transition from the college to the pros? Like, what was the difference to make that jump?
Yeah, well, it wasn't just for me. It wasn't just college to pro. It was Division II to pro. So it was kind of a big jump. I mean, there's a lot of good talent in Division II, but the game is so much faster when you get up to the professional level. So it kind of took a sec. It was a little overwhelming at first. There's a lot of guys every guy on that team would be like the best guy I would play in Division II.
Yeah.
So it just took a lot. It took a lot of time to get used to that speed and adjust to it. And I've become a lot better player since I've gotten in the NFL too. So it's just all about continuing to grow and adapt and adjusting off the guy in front of you. So.
Yeah, so you're a part of the Chiefs, obviously, and they just won a Super Bowl, so they're a pretty successful organization right now. What's your favorite part about being a part of that team?
Yeah, honestly, the people in the organization, they have a winning mind there, and they do things the right way. I think I could tell, having been in, with the Ravens, and they do stuff the right way too. But I don't know, Kansas City seems a little different. They're all highly motivated people doing the right things, the right process, and beyond that, it's just good people. The coaches are good people. They're patient. They work with you. All the players are cool. There's not a lot of big egos in the room, and that was my favorite thing about being there. So, Yeah.
Yeah, so like you, not a lot of big egos in the room. You're obviously, behind one of the best tight ends in the league, Travis Kelce. What's it like being in a tight end room with somebody like him? Like, how much do you learn from him, even in practice or just daily?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from him. Obviously, like you said, I mean, he's the best to do it right now in the NFL, and so it's pretty special that I get to learn from him every day. And I mean, from the first day I got there, talking to him and watching his film, I've learned so much and taken away a lot from him. He's doing little stuff that I would never even think to do. Trying to get open, and the way he reads the defense and gets open and zone and stuff like that. And he's really patient with the young guys too. I mean, he takes time and teaches us little techniques, little tricks. I mean, he's a student of the game and he's also a teacher of the game. So he takes the time to in practice, and in film rooms to tell us little tricks that he likes to use. And it's great to learn learn from someone like that. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty special.
So I'm gonna throw you a softball. I'm not sure if you were aware of anything that went on at Grand Valley, but I'm gonna throw you a little softball question. If you had to have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, that aren't sports related, who would they be?
Oh man, you put me on the spot like that. I don't want to blow it like other people have. Dead or alive? That's tough. Let me think.
It's probably a little harder for you because you probably do get to have dinner with some people that you'd want to have.
I would say a bunch of athletes, but like I'm around athletes all the time. I kind of want to say like somebody funny. I was always a big Adam Sandler fan growing up, so Adam Sandler
would be a fun one. Yeah,
I love all his classic movies. He's a funny guy. President Obama, probably. I don't know. He seems like the coolest president we've ever had.
Yeah, he
like,
seems pretty chill. Yeah, like he's all into sports too, so he's always talking about basketball and everything.
He's very personable. I feel like he'd be fun to be around. And let me think. I don't know. Somebody smart. Throw some genius in the room, like Einstein or
Elon Musk
or something like that. Throw somebody in there. Yeah, that'd be a good group, good mix of people. Get some good conversation flowing.
That definitely probably would be some good conversations.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something I'll have to think of for future if anybody ever asks me that, because I feel like you should be able to just rail off through people.
Especially you being from Grand Valley, you'd probably have to answer that more.
Well, now I'm paranoid. They might come back and haunt you. But
all right. Well, that concludes my questions. Thank you so much for doing this with me. That's really cool for me to be able to do. I appreciate it. I'm glad that Alex could get me in contact with you and that you took your time out of your day to do this with me. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. The least I could do. Keep doing your thing, man. That's awesome.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us on the second episode of the Collegiate Live Podcast. Be sure to come back next week for episode 3.